I hope not to disappoint, all right? So hi, I'm Alexei Dingley. I'm a professor of AI at the University of Malta. I also have my own company, Digital Brain, where we do AI solutions. It's a pure AI company. And today I'll be talking about turning everyday challenges into strategic wins with AI. All right? My idea here is to give you an honest opinion of the current landscape within AI, because sometimes we hear the nice things that it can do everything, the silver bullet, okay? But it's not always the case, and you need to be really careful about it. So let's start with the basics. What is AI? I put the slide because, when I speak to people, most people know, or at least they say that they know what is AI. But when it comes to the actual nitty-gritty of AI, the AI technologies, it's very obvious that many of them have no idea. It's worse in the upper levels, so in the C levels especially because managers tell me, yes, we know about AI, there are solutions, etc., etc. But when it comes to actually implement them, all right, that is the big question mark. How do you actually implement an AI solution? How do you choose which is the best algorithm? Do I have the data? No, there are a zillion questions. So what is AI? So basically AI, it's about having systems, software, hardware that is capable of mimicking intelligent behavior. Most of the time it's intelligent behavior, which is human intelligent behavior, but not only really, okay? But if you want to keep it simple, if it's a system that can copy intelligent behavior or what we repute to be intelligent, all right, then that is artificial intelligence. Is AI the chosen one? Okay. I start from this because, a lot of people speak about AI in the singular. All right? AI is not one solution, okay? And I don't think it's the chosen one either. It is a very important technology. It is a fundamental technology. I think it will change everything, all right? So practically, I'm pretty sure you're all very dependent on AI, even though you might not realize how dependent you are on AI. Just think about it. If you bought a car in the last few years, probably it's full of AI. Even if you bought a simple air conditioner, it's full of AI today. So anything you're probably touching with has some sort of AI, okay? But most importantly, it's not one technology. And I'm saying this because when I meet people, they tell me, because now there's AI. No, AI has been with us for at least 70, 80 years, okay? So it's not something new. Secondly, most people refer to AI as ChatGPT, all right? AI is much more than that, okay? ChatGPT is a tiny part of it. So I would more say something like this, the chosen many, okay? Why? Because as I said, it's a fundamental group of technologies. I say it's a spectrum of technologies. There are different levels of intelligence as well, no? So the less intelligence to the more intelligence. And of course, tools like the large language models, the ChatGPT, the Gemini, etc. of this world are very important, life-changing technologies. Having said that, there's still a long way. We haven't reached there, and there are many people, especially in our domain, that believe that these models have reached a plateau, and we need to go to the next best thing. So expect more exciting things. Is AI a big fat bubble? I don't think so, okay? I think AI, as I said, will be very revolutionary. And just, I believe last week, NVIDIA launched their financial reports for Q3. There was a lot of expectations because they were afraid that if the quarterly reports weren't good, there would be this burst of the bubble, the AI bubble. But NVIDIA announced a 62% increase in revenue from last year. Okay, so I think it's very, very obvious where the appetite is. Everybody's investing heavily in AI. Now, that doesn't mean that there won't be casualties, okay? And we're already seeing some casualties when it comes to AI, and it will happen, okay? But of course, it will happen because many of them just try to, jump on the bandwagon, all right, irrespective of who the companies are, and trying to have the AI label behind their name, all right? It shouldn't happen like that, okay? It's a process. You need to do it. It's a long-term thing. Don't expect AI to change your business overnight, okay? It will take time, but if you do it properly, it will give you some very, very, very important tangible benefits as well. Let's just sprinkle some AI. Not even, okay? As I said, it won't happen overnight, all right? It's not like I have a project, why not add some AI to it? No, okay? It's not like that, all right? You need to rethink it. And today we're talking about digital transformation, no? And you know how to do proper business process re-engineering, no? It's not about getting a paper and having the digital version of that paper online. You need to rethink everything. And with AI, it's the same thing. You need to see where AI gives you the added value. If AI gives you no added value, do not implement AI. It's a waste of time and money for everyone, okay? So first start, what is the added value that AI is going to give me? And then create projects to get that added value in your organization. It's a kind of magic. Or isn't? It's no magic, okay? It's just statistics, very smart statistics, a lot of mathematics, okay? But no magic over there, all right? So if somebody is promising you, quick fixes and magical solutions, okay? I would start having my red flags jumping, okay? No magic, do it properly, it's a software, but it's a very powerful software, okay? And it's very different from the other softwares as well. Remember, when it comes to a normal software, it tends to solve a problem. In AI, we tend to tackle those problems that probably have no solution, all right? Doesn't mean that we have the solution to all the problems, because we don't, okay? But most of the time, having a 30% solution, a 60% solution rather than nothing is better than that. Beware of the noise, all right? Unfortunately, and this is normal, of course, there's a lot of noise going on. Suddenly, overnight, a lot of companies become AI companies, okay? So be very careful who to trust, especially with your business, okay? Recently, there was a survey by the European Union about AI startups in Europe, okay? 40% of these AI startups in Europe did no AI. Okay? And unfortunately, that is the situation today, all right? There are many companies that, just put the label so that they can sell more, they can get access to funding, but in reality, they have no idea what they're doing, okay? And this is even more problematic with the large language models like ChatGPT, LL, Gemini, etc. Why? Because they're really good at what they do, but they're not perfect, okay? Sometimes I tell my people that it's as if you want to put in a nail, with a jackhammer. That is how using these models are. There's more better AI, more traditional AI that can give you very good results without the downside of the new models, okay? So you have to be very careful who to trust. Unfortunately, to complicate life for everyone, there's another kind of AI that's gaining traction, and it's called agentic AI. Now, mind you, agentic AI will become very important in the future. I honestly believe it. But now we're at that stage where, everybody's talking about agentic AI. And what was just AI a year ago suddenly became agentic AI. Recently, I met someone who wanted to show me his system. It was an agentic AI system as well. It was a good system. And then I asked him the question, what is the agentic part? And he couldn't answer that simple question. So guys, be careful. Unfortunately, it's very easy to, stuck the agentic AI label and charge you 3 times as much for the same system they would have sold you a year ago. Now, agentic AI will become extremely important for a very important reason. First of all, I don't know if you realize, but we are living, or we work, in what I call the waiting room economy. All right? What is the waiting room economy? Steve mentioned it earlier. How many of you have emails pending in your inbox? No? Emails which can be 5 minutes work, it could be an hour of work, 2 hours of work, okay? And many of those emails are just waiting for your attention, competing for your attention. Okay? A study showed that amount of waiting is about 90% of our processes. So a lot of our processes is just emails or other digital messages waiting for our attention. Okay? And a lot of that will disappear with agentic AI. All right? Agentic AI will make a big difference, but it's still in the beginning. Now here, when I say still in the beginning, not in the sense that it hasn't been around, it's something new. When I was much younger, 20 years ago, I used to work on AI agents back then. Of course, the technology wasn't mature enough, so it never happened. Today, I'm pretty sure it will happen, but there are still a lot of things that we need to solve before they give you concrete productivity. Everyone uses AI. Now, this is something that a lot of people do not realize, unfortunately. Here I'm talking about what is known as shadow AI, okay? So recently I was in a company, a large company, and they told me, listen, we have some very important data, no? We have a very important list of VIP clients, okay? And they told me, you know, God forbid if that list finishes in the hand of an AI, no? And my question was, how do you know it's not there already? No? Think about it. How many of you have people, staff members, secretaries, whatever, that when they need to, I don't know, write an email, process a list, they go to ChatGPT, paste it over there, can you order it for me? Can you give me the list in this format? And once you give it out, you've lost it. Okay? And unfortunately, this is the situation today. Many companies do not have an AI policy yet, okay? And many companies did not train their staff to use AI. So what happens, you know, there's this new AI system, and a lot of people just use unsanctioned AI, all right? And this can be very dangerous, because we are giving all this precious data to these companies. So what I always say is beware of the opportunity loss, all right? Unfortunately, I get people tell me, you know, why fix it if it's not broken, all right? But with AI, you can do much more. I think you're missing the whole point of it. And here's just a small example. You know, very simple, something very doable today. Processing of invoicing, 5 minutes per invoice, all right? Half the salary of a junior accountant. Today, you can easily get an AI to do that process for you. Maybe there will be 10% errors, I'm exaggerating, but let's say there's 10% errors. So suddenly you've saved 9,000 euros from that person's unproductive work, and you can redirect that amount to something more productive, all right? So think, how many of your processes are being unproductive? How many can be improved very easily with AI, the quick wins, as I always say. And this leads me to the first exercise I have for you. So this is called the cacti and fruit trees, all right? So I always say that the way to start is to identify what are your pain points and quick wins, okay? That's why the cacti and the fruit trees, all right? So the cacti are your pain points, and the fruit trees are your quick wins. So what I would like you to do is take out your mobile, please. Go to this link over here. All right, if the QR doesn't work, you can type it there. So it's https://tinyurl.com/pain-wins, okay? And it's a prompt, all right? It's quite complex as a prompt, all right? So if you go to the bottom of the page, you can copy that prompt, all right? There's a copy button as well. Let me do it as well with you. Okay, and just place it inside one of your favorite LLM models. It could be ChatGPT, it could be Gemini, whichever you want, okay? Change the properties at the top, all right, where you give it information about which is your company, etc., what is your role, etc., and it will identify for you the pain points and the quick wins which you might have in your company. Doesn't mean that, you know, it will be 100%, but most of the time it's pretty close to some of the quick wins which you might have. So let me start a timer. You have 1 minute to do that. Okay, so this is important because it will help you identify where you can tackle with AI. What are the issues which you can tackle with artificial intelligence, okay? As I said, it's not something that is going to happen overnight, but you need to start from somewhere. Here are some things which I want you to keep in mind. So the first one, is there a clear user need? All right, if you're creating something and, you know, there are no users for it, why do it? Once again, the added value. If AI doesn't add value, do not use it. What is the effect of such an AI solution? So is it trying to solve something? No? What is it trying to solve? Will the AI program need to explain itself? Now this is important. Sometimes they tell you, because our system is a black box approach. I'm sure you've heard about it, no? A black box approach simply means that you give it an input, you get an output, but you do not have an explanation of how it works. Personally, I do not accept black box approaches, okay? Because a black box approach, even though it might be 90% accurate, all right, which is quite high, it might be totally wrong, all right? And there are various studies that show this. Today, there are systems that allow the black boxes to explain themselves, and I would be more reassured if the AI can explain itself, okay? So always demand that explainable AI is a feature of any system. Do you have the adequate team? All right, so this is a big problem. Unfortunately, there aren't enough people with knowledge about AI. So you can get teams from outside, from outside the organization. But it's also important that throughout the time you also build your own capacity. Okay, remember your dependency on AI will only increase as we go along. All right, so use teams from outside, but build your own capacity in the process. Do you have the appropriate computing power? Remember, AI tools consume a lot of power, all right? They need a lot of processing power. And the modern tools like ChatGPT, etc., they need a specialized kind of server, what we call the GPUs, the GPU server, which is a different chip than normal servers, okay? So that is something very important. But today, there's cloud and there are various solutions. Is it still fine if AI misses something? No. Are we ready to live with that? Because AI is not perfect like any other system, so you need to decide that. Is it okay if AI does some error? Are you ready to live with that? All right, so these are considerations you need to make. Otherwise, once again, don't use it. Do you have the appropriate data? So, data is the king. You need good data. And it's not just about the volume of the data. I have a lot of data, no? It's not just that. It's the quality of the data. How truthful is that data? How varied is that data? All right, so AI needs very good data to work. And can you have the data? If I don't have the data, can I get it from somewhere else? Is there ways and means of doing that? Today there are. There's something called, for example, synthetic data. And we use it when we have systems which are very low in data. So the second prompt I will share with you today. So what I would like you to do is go to this prompt. Okay, same as before. It's a prompt. Just copy it and paste it into your favorite LLM model. If it's ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever you want. All right, and you just change the parameters at the top. So basically similar parameters to what you had before, but now you will give it one of the problems you've identified in the previous prompt. All right. Of course, you can give it any other problem which you like. And what it will do, it will try to brainstorm and come up with how AI can help you in this case. I think I have, oops, sorry. So I have a timer. Let me give you another minute to do that. Okay, so as I said, doesn't mean that all the solutions will be valid, no, but I think it can give you a good indication of what AI can do for you as well. Okay, time's up. I'll continue. Last thing, my last prompt is, how ready is your organization? Okay, sometimes, we wonder whether our organization is ready for AI, how AI ready is your organization. And what we did here is a small survey. Try it out, fill it out, and then you will get a small report about how AI-ready your organization is. So this looks at things like, for example, governance. It looks at things like data. It looks at the state of your organization, and it tries to give you a score. I think this is important because people do not realize how data-rich your organization can be and what AI can do with that data. Most organizations have a lot of potential when it comes to AI. Of course, as I said, not to solve every problem, because I'm not selling a solution to all the problems which you have, but it can tackle a lot of the issues that you might be facing. Okay, so we started from the pain points and quick wins, then we went to potential AI projects, and now to the AI readiness of your organization. All right, so imagine you want to decide to proceed with a project. All right, so what's the next step? I suggest this 5-step approach. First of all, how do you select the team? No. First is the team and the track record. Who is this company? What is their track record when it comes to AI? Was it formed yesterday? Does it have years of experience? No. So that's very important. Second, what kind of technology they have, because today it's very easy to just, create a nice interface, stick it into ChatGPT or anything and give you an AI solution, all right? It should be much more than that. You have to be very careful with those kind of solutions. Third, the clean and governed data. Data is the key. It's probably one of the most precious things you have, so you need to handle it very well. Keep in mind as well that there are a lot of legislations, GDPR, etc., so you need to be very well protected, you and your clients. Defensible IP and compliance, all right? So remember, there are many rules. Even recently, we saw the launch of the AI Act, all right? So you need to be compliant with these rules because, of course, there are heavy fines as well. Market validation and realism. Know how true is it that I can implement this tool, how realistic, all right? And how realistic is the solution being proposed as well. So I always suggest you go through these 5 phases before choosing an AI proposal. Once you choose it, then I suggest the ABC, okay? So the first one is, what is the aim? You need to understand what is the aim of the system. B, benchmark, how good is that system? And please do not just rely on statistics, no, because those are very easy to create. And C, control, what kind of control do you have on that system, okay? And I'll give you a very short example around this. So imagine we have the spam filter, all right? We all know how spam works. So we receive the email, then there's an AI which says whether it's spam or not, all right? So the first step is the aim, all right? So ideally you have a one-pager. You don't need volumes because otherwise you'll get lost, no? So what is the purpose? Why do you have the spam filter? What data was used in the spam filter? A lot of people do not realize that these AI systems, and it was mentioned by Steve or Nick, are as good as the data on which they were trained. Okay, and many do not ask what data was used for the training. Okay, it might be, that data gave 90% good results, but maybe the data is not representative of your data, so it will not give the same result in your organization. So please be careful about the data. How was it checked? All right, there were people checking how was the frequency of it, and where it struggles. As I said before, there is no AI system that is perfect. Okay, I've never seen one that is 100%, and when I see systems that are 100%, I start getting worried quite a lot, okay? So understand the weakness of these AI systems as well, if you're going to buy one. Second, benchmarking. So what was tested, how it was tested, how it compared, all right? So try to get these benchmarks. Now it could be that the data or the example isn't exactly like the one you have, all right? So in that case, ask for a pilot, a small pilot on a small subset of your data and get some benchmarks on your own data. I think that would be the safest things you can do. And of course, collect as much information about these trials as possible. Finally, the control, because things will go wrong, even though we try as much as possible to create as good system as possible, but things will go wrong. Before it was mentioned bias. No, bias is a big problem. We can't remove bias, but we can try to reduce it. Same with hallucinations. No, hallucination is a big problem as well. We can try to reduce it as well. All right. So, what we watch. Statistics, the thresholds, how we act. So what happens when things go south? Okay, how are we going to deal with that? And you need a procedure for that. Who we inform and how people complain to get information about what's happening. Okay, so in my opinion, I would go through these 3 checks to ensure that my AI system is good. Finally, where should you start? It's not a surprise, I told you already, all right? So I would always start by identifying the quick wins and the pain points, all right? See which one gives you the most benefits, because AI should give you value, okay? And start from those. Start tackling those problems that give you the most benefits. Finally, I leave you with my favorite quote. I didn't say it, okay, but I'm borrowing it. AI will not disrupt your business for now, but a competitor who understands how to use AI better than you will. And I think that is the situation today. AI is advancing a lot. Those that will learn to use it to their advantage first will have much more benefits than the others. And of course, this is the race today. So my advice, do not fall backwards within this race, but try to sprint ahead. Thank you.